Spoiled HOA Karen's son stole my ATV, thinking he's untouchable. I'm a cop. The quiet neighborhood. The neighborhood looked peaceful from the outside. Clean streets, perfect houses, every lawn trimmed exactly the same way. The HOA loved keeping things perfect. But behind that polished appearance, there were always a few people who believed the rules didn't apply to them. And in this neighborhood, that person was Karen's son. Karen's reputation. Karen was already known for being difficult. She enforced HOA rules like she was running a small government. Grass too tall, fine. Trash bin visible, fine. Wrong mailbox color, another fine. Most neighbors tried to avoid conflict with her. But the real problem wasn't Karen, it was her son. The spoiled kid. Karen's son had grown up believing he could do anything he wanted. He drove around the neighborhood like he owned the place. Speeding, blasting music, parking wherever he wanted. And if anyone complained, Karen would step in and defend him. Boys will be boys, she always said. But that attitude eventually created a much bigger problem. My ATV. I owned a small ATV that I used on weekends. Nothing fancy, just a reliable four-wheeler I used for trail rides outside the neighborhood. I kept it parked in my garage. Sometimes I would take it out to clean it or do maintenance. The kids in the neighborhood loved looking at it, but I always made sure it stayed locked up, or at least I thought it was secure. The day it disappeared one Saturday morning, I walked into the garage and immediately noticed something was wrong. The ATV wasn't there. The space where it usually sat was empty. At first I thought maybe I had moved it earlier, but then I saw the broken lock near the garage door. Someone had forced it open and taken the ATV. The first suspect. The neighborhood didn't have many problems with theft, but one person immediately came to mind: Karen's son. Several neighbors had already complained about him driving other people's bikes and scooters without permission, but Karen always dismissed those accusations. Still, this time felt different, because now something expensive was missing. The security cameras. Luckily, my house had security cameras. I checked the footage from the night before, and there it was. Around midnight, the garage door slowly opening. Karen's son stepping inside, looking around quickly, then pushing the ATV out of the garage. He didn't even try to hide his face. He looked completely confident, like he believed nothing would happen to him. The confrontation. Later that afternoon, I walked over to Karen's house. The ATV was parked right there in the driveway, covered in mud, clearly used. Karen was standing outside talking on her phone. When she saw me, she immediately frowned. "What do you want?" I pointed at the ATV. "That belongs to me." Karen's reaction. Karen looked at the ATV, then back at me, and laughed. "My son said you let him borrow it." That was news to me, because I had never spoken to her son about the ATV, not once. I calmly explained that the vehicle had been taken from my locked garage. Karen rolled her eyes. "It's just a misunderstanding." The son appears. At that moment, her son walked outside. He looked annoyed, like I was interrupting his day. "You're making a big deal out of nothing," he said. "It's just an ATV." Then he added something that told me exactly what he believed. "No one here is going to do anything about it anyway." The truth comes out. I looked at him for a moment. Then I said something simple. "You're right about one thing. No one here is going to do anything." Then I pulled out my badge, because I wasn't just another homeowner. I was a police officer. And stealing a vehicle from someone's garage isn't a small misunderstanding. It's a crime. The confidence disappears. Karen's son went silent immediately. Karen looked shocked. For the first time since I had walked over, neither of them had anything to say, because the situation they thought they could control had suddenly become very serious. The report. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't argue. I simply explained what would happen next. The security footage, the broken lock, the stolen vehicle, all of it would be included in the report. And once a report like that exists, things move forward whether people like it or not. The realization. Karen tried to apologize. Her son suddenly looked nervous. But the moment for excuses had already passed, because actions have consequences. And believing you're untouchable doesn't make the law disappear. What happened next? The ATV was returned. Repairs were paid for. And Karen's son learned a lesson he probably should have learned years earlier. After that day, he never touched anything that didn't belong to him again. What would you do if someone in your neighborhood took your property thinking they could get away with it? How would you respond? Would you confront them, call the police, or handle it another way? Comment below and tell me what you would do. And don't forget to write your city and country in the comments. If you enjoy stories like this, like the video and subscribe for more unbelievable HOA stories. And I'll see you in the next one.